How's it going, IO? In this video, we have a massive update on Donald Trump's arrest, why fans are now hating on Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny more than ever before, and what are the dumb phones that Gen Z is talking about. Okay, big news, Trump just surrendered to authorities yesterday. He got charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records and conspiracy related to the 2016 hush money payments. It only took a few minutes to drive from his home at Trump Tower to the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse. During the drive, he wrote one last message to his followers on Truth Social. He said, "Heading to Lower Manhattan, the courthouse, seems so surreal. Wow, they are going to arrest me. Can't believe this is happening in America. MAGA." Both anti-Trump and pro-Trump protesters flooded the area outside the courthouse. Trump had on a poker face as he got out of the car and walked inside, before briefly pausing to wave at the crowd. On entering the courthouse, he surrendered to New York authorities and became the first ever US president to ever be criminally charged. He had his fingerprints taken and his details recorded, but he will not be handcuffed or put in a jail cell, and he is not expected to have his mugshot taken. He appeared before Judge Juan Merchan for his arraignment. It wasn't broadcast on TV as the judge banned cameras from the courtroom, but there have already been some official pictures released from inside the room. His lawyer Joe Tacopina can be seen sitting next to him. This investigation is years in the making. It started when Trump was still in the White House. The Manhattan DA found out that he paid two women hush money to try and avoid a scandal ahead of the 2016 election. One of those women was adult film star Stormy Daniels, who claims that she had a sexual encounter with him in 2006. The year after he married Melania and more than a decade before he became president. For his part, Trump has denied the relationship and said that the payment was made to stop her false and extortionist accusations. In October of 2016, just days before the presidential election, Daniels signed a non-disclosure agreement where she pledged not to publicly address her relationship with him in exchange for $130,000, which was arranged by his lawyer Michael Cohen. That hush money worked until the Wall Street Journal broke the story around 2018, and things started to unravel. At first, Michael Cohen insisted that he paid Daniels using his own money, and he did this of his own volition. He said that he was never reimbursed for the payment, but he later contradicted these statements under oath and revealed that he was in fact instructed to make the payment and later reimbursed. Cohen was convicted of tax evasion, lying to Congress, and campaign finance violations related to the payments to Daniels. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. For his part, Trump has continually denied any wrongdoing. After leaving the hearing yesterday, he flew from New York to Florida to give a speech. He ignored a plea from the judge to refrain from making inflammatory statements and launched into a full-blown rant about the case. He said, "I never thought anything like this could happen in America. I never thought it could happen. The only crime I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it." He went on to claim that prosecutors were not able to make a case against him and the entire country is going to hell. He said, "I have a Trump-hating judge with a Trump-hating wife and a family whose daughter worked for Kamala Harris." With this speech, he made it clear that he has no plans of toning down his rhetoric. So it's possible that the judge might decide to issue a gag order, which would legally restrict him from speaking publicly about the case outside of court proceedings. He would also be banned from talking about it online. While this might infringe his First Amendment rights, some people think it could be necessary given just how much he's already posted about the case. It would also prevent him from using all of this to boost his presidential campaign, which his team has already been doing. While he was awaiting his arraignment, his campaign blasted out a fundraising email selling a t-shirt with his fake mugshot on it. They asked people for a contribution of $47 to his campaign in order to get a shirt. Over the last couple of days, Trump has lashed out at almost everyone involved in his arrest. Apart from the judge, he's also attacked the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, the guy who brought the investigation against him. On Truth Social, the former president posted an image of himself waving a baseball bat close to Alvin's head. He also called him an animal and threatened death and destruction if he were to be charged. But it's possible that Trump is just putting on a big front. He insisted over and over again that the DA doesn't have anything on him, but he's probably sweating bullets right now. One of his former aides spoke out about his arrest and said that it must be a jarring and surreal surreal moment for him. He said this is the least amount of control that Trump has ever had over a situation and his physical circumstances in many, many years. On the other hand, his attorneys were pretty confident of his innocence. They told TMZ, "Trump did not commit any crime. We will vigorously fight this political prosecution in court." His son Eric Trump also spoke out about his father's arrest. He said, "This is third world prosecutorial misconduct. It is the opportunistic targeting of a political opponent in a campaign year." But whatever you believe, it's really difficult to see how Trump is going to get out of this one. Okay, now we have to talk about a relationship that has fans fuming. Yes, it's whatever is going on between Kendall Jenner and Bad Bunny. When rumors of their relationship started to surface online, everyone was really confused. They were thinking, hold on, this can't be right. Bad Bunny is dating a Kardashian? His fans were genuinely shocked. A lot of them couldn't believe it. But if you take a look at the most recent photos, it gets harder and harder to deny reality. Over the weekend, the two of them went for a horseback ride at the Hidden Hills Equestrian Center in California. It looked like a very fun date, and apparently they spent about 90 minutes just riding horses. They took turns on the horse and even rode together at one point. That's when things got romantic. Kendall was seen taking the reins while Benito was sitting behind her with his arms around her waist. Now, the fact that they did this is a pretty big deal. Kendall is definitely a horse girl. In fact, she once claimed that her only friends were her horses. So if she's introduced him to her favorite animals, that probably means it's getting serious. Once these pictures went viral, you can pretty much guess how fans reacted. One person tweeted, "I am so confused. What do they even talk about? Homegirl can't even cut a cucumber. How is she able to understand a single word in Spanish?" Other people wrote things like, "I bet she downloaded Duolingo only for him." And this is another celebrity hookup that seems like a publicity stunt. If you go through all these comments, the general consensus seems to be that the two of them should not be dating because Kendall Jenner is a basic white girl. But that's only a surface level criticism. The confusion and hatred of their relationship is about so much more than that. Despite their family's success, the Kardashians are not very well liked in the public eye. They've been accused of being out of touch, not understanding their privilege, and generally being everything that's wrong with celebrities these days. They also get accused of cultural appropriation like every other month. And this is something that all five sisters have been guilty of at one point in time. Kendall specifically had a major problem with this when she did a photo shoot for her Spirits brand 818 tequila. In the photos, she was seen riding a horse through rows and rows of agave plants and sipping her tequila on the back of a pickup truck. She was also wearing an outfit and a hairstyle that is traditionally associated with Mexican culture, which obviously is not her culture. The entire campaign capitalized on stereotypes about farmers in Mexico. Not only that, but the Kardashians have also been called out for fetishizing men of color. And since Benito is Puerto Rican, fans seem to think that Kendall is doing the exact same thing with him. That's exactly why everyone's so upset. The rapper has helped a lot of Hispanic people feel seen because he's so successful in mainstream pop. He is this entirely likable, utterly unproblematic celebrity. And then you have Kendall, who's essentially the complete opposite. So it's no wonder they feel so protective over him. Recently, there has been other couples that fans have objected to, like Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde, but this one feels a little different. When the rumors first started circulating about them, people were fuming at the idea that Benito would even think about interacting with someone like Kendall. When it started in February, many believed that it was just a drop in the pan, and it would barely last longer than a week. The two of them were seen leaving the same restaurant around the same time as Justin and Hailey Bieber, so that made it seem like they were on a double date. A few days later, an inside source spoke to People magazine and said, "She likes him and is having fun. He is different from guys that she's dated in the past. He's very charming." According to Entertainment Tonight, her feelings were being reciprocated. Quote, "Kendall and Bad Bunny are attracted to each other and definitely have a flirty vibe. It's been fun for both of them so far." Then in early March, the two of them were spotted heading to Sushi Park in West Hollywood along with Kylie Jenner. This is when they were photographed hugging and kissing. Around this time, it was reported that they had been taking things slow for now and seeing where things go in the future. It was said that they both really liked each other and were hanging out and having a good time. They got along very well and have mutual friends, so the people around them really liked them together. A few weeks later, they were spotted going on that romantic horse ride. Now, there are still some fans desperately clinging to the idea that they're just friends, but to those people I say, look at the photos and tell me you think that friends ride horses like that. And now, did you know that a growing number of Gen Zs have decided to ditch their smartphones for something a little more old school? It seems like the younger generation have just discovered those old Nokia brick phones and flip phones that everyone used to have in the 2000s. They are calling them dumb phones. And yes, that's actually happening. CNBC reported that Gen Z are now opting for these old models over a state-of-the-art smartphone. Last year, Nokia sold tens of thousands of flip phones, brick phones, and the ones that slide up to reveal a keyboard. These dumb phones have become a hot new trend, which seems to have been started by teenagers in New York City. So what's the deal? Do they even know these phones can't do anything except for the most basic form of communication? Well, yeah, they do. And that's the whole idea. One of the biggest selling points of this trend is the fact that it will drastically reduce your screen time. It allows you to use tech more purposefully instead of just mindlessly scrolling. Of course, that will help you live in the moment more and lengthen your attention span, which is something that we should all be working towards. Another bonus is that their price range is really basic, so it's going to be very reasonable. After all, one of the biggest worries you have with an iPhone is the possibility of it breaking or losing it. Aside from being a total pain to replace it, it's just a very expensive mistake to make. Add that to the fact that most of our phones are now linked up to things like Apple Pay and other personal data. When you lose it, you have to make sure that you wipe everything that's stored on the device. It's just a massive hassle. So it's no wonder that this trend is getting really popular with Gen Z. By using a phone from the Stone Age, it also gives them less opportunities to make bad decisions, like posting something embarrassing on social media after they've been drinking. When your inhibitions are lowered, in comes the temptation to post risky photos, write a very opinionated tweet, or call your ex and tell them how much you miss them. Most of the older phones still have low-res cameras, but they don't have the software that'll let you post things right away. One TikTok creator made a video explaining the trend. She said, "My friend group realized that every single problem we had on a night out, everything that led to us crying, everything that led to us having a bad hookup, everything that leads us to having a bad time stems from our phone while we're out." Of course, brick phones can still communicate in an emergency, but it doesn't have all that extra stuff that gets in the way of you being present. It is a little unsafe though, because most phones have smartphone built-in trackers and location sharing features, which comes in very handy if one of your friends gets separated from the group. But it seems like a lot of people are willing to risk it. There's now a whole Reddit thread with over 18,000 members all encouraging each other to get dumb phones. Many people are looking for recommendations or sharing their favorite dumb phone hacks, which is really funny when you think about it. The only thing that you can really do on an old Nokia is play that snake game. It's not exactly Candy Crush, but it was really entertaining when you had nothing else to do. So it's all about perspective. What do you guys think about this story? Is Gen Z onto something? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.